Okay, we're going to start with an overview of APA format using an actual APA paper on APA format. The first page here is your title page, and you'll see at the top that you have your running header, which will say running head, and then you have your title of the paper up there in that running head. The subsequent pages, you'll see the running header is different. It's just the title of the paper. On this title page, you'll also have, again, in the center of the paper, centered Times New Roman, you'll have the name of the paper, which obviously in this case is APA format, your name as the author, and then the name of the institution that you're writing the paper for will go on that page. When you get to the second page, as I mentioned, you'll see APA format, which is the title of the paper that is up top, the running header, and you'll see that the page numbers are there to the top right-hand side of your paper. In this paper, I included an abstract, which is not always necessary. Check with the instructor and see if they want you to do an abstract. If you do, the abstract will be the first page of the paper before the body. The abstract's always going to have basically an overview or an analysis of the topic that you're talking about. You want this abstract to summarize your paper, the key points, and really grab the reader's attention. You want them to read that abstract and then pick up and read your paper. A well-written abstract is going to make sure that the reader is going to get the information that they need, that is going to be included in your research, your summary, or your article. So they're going to pick it up, they're going to say, yep, this is definitely beneficial, or no, I don't know if I want to read this. It's going to have your purpose, objectives, the method, and results of the paper included, and it should be short, clear, and concise. Make sure you limit your abstract to about 250 words. Sorry, not pages. So you really want to limit it so it's short, sweet, and to the point. You want to really get the reader's attention and have them pick up your paper to want to read. When you get to the beginning of your paper, you're going to have your body. So you really want to have your paper with an introduction. Every paper you should have a good introduction and a good conclusion. So your introduction is just really the beginning of your paper. It talks to the reader about what they're going to read and what they're going to learn, and then it's going to progress into your paper. The thing with the introduction is that you do not need to have a heading or subheading for your introduction. You're simply going to put that as the first paragraph or couple paragraphs of your paper before you proceed on to your body of your paper. Once we start the paper, there's different level headings that you're going to use. So in this, I'm only doing level 1, level 2, and level 3. If you need more information on the headings in this first paragraph under level 2 headings, you'll see where you can get that information right in the American Psychological Association manual. So your level 1 heading is centered, bold, and then under that you'll proceed to have your level 2 headings. Your level 2 heading is bold and it's left flush. The paragraph or words for that will begin afterwards. It'll be indented and obviously not bolded. So your level 1 headings separate major sections, where your level 2 are the subsets that pertain to the level 1. So what's important in this is that if you're putting a level 2 heading, that level 2 heading relates to your level 1 heading. As you get to your level 3 headings, your level 3 relates to your level 2, which is under your level 1. So to give you an idea of what I mean by that, think about automobiles. So automobiles might be your level 1 heading, and as your level 2 heading, you might have cars, trucks, SUVs. Your level 3 heading under your cars might be Toyota, Lexus, Honda. So you'll have your level 3 heading that would be a subset of your level 2, which is therefore part of your level 1, because your Toyota, which is your level 3, pertains to your car that also pertains to your automobile. So I hope that makes sense. The other thing that's important in APA is numbering, and I talked about this in the PowerPoint as well, but when you are writing in APA and you're using numbers, anything below number 10 needs to be written out as a word, not as numeric number. Anything 10 or above can be written out numerically, so 11, 12, 13. But if you're writing 1, it needs to be written as O-N-E and not number 1. The other thing that's important here, as I go on through your level 2 headings, under that paragraph, it's talking about direct quotes. And when I put in here the direct quote from APA, it says the words to express numbers below 10, and you see that's in quotations. What's important is anytime you use a direct quote that you're putting the page number in there after the citation. So I'm giving the citation, the name of the author or organization. So here it's the American Psychological Association, 2010, and it's page 111. The other thing that you have to make sure you're doing is anytime you are going to put a citation in here and give the source credit, you also have to make sure that that citation is included on your reference page. So you cite it within, and then you have to include it at the end as your part of your references. You'll also see here that I wrote in here that I've included the page numbers where there's direct quotes according to APA, and then page 171. The other thing that you can do, you can always put page numbers if it's not a direct quote. So here I'm paraphrasing, but I also included the page number. While it's not required that you include the page number if you're paraphrasing, it's a good idea to do that, and then people will know where your source information comes from. If information, again, this was also in your in the other presentation on APA format, the PowerPoint, but it's also really important, and I'm going to say it again for this particular reason. If something is not common knowledge, if it's a fact that's not common knowledge, you have to cite it and include it in your references. I talked about in the presentation, if I was discussing atrial fibrillation, and I'm saying that atrial fibrillation is an irregular rhythm with no discernible P's, I need to cite where that information comes from because that would not be common knowledge to everyone. So you would cite where you got the information and then include it in your reference page. One of the best rules of thumb is if it's not common knowledge, cite it. You cannot overcite. You want to make sure that you put citations in here and that if it's coming from a source, you give that source credit. Plagiarism is something that you do not want to have occur to you when you're in school. You can fail a class, you can fail a grade, or you can be dismissed from a program for plagiarism. So for all intents and purposes, if you put information in, cite it, and cite it. The only thing that I did mention in the presentation as well is you don't want to overuse direct quotes either. Too many direct quotes is actually not enough of your own work. So use paraphrasing and summarizing and just give credit to the author. So your level 3 heading, again, remember this is our Toyota. This would be in bold, but it's the beginning of your paragraph. So here I would have written Toyota, and then I would have proceeded to talk about Toyota cars. It's bold and simply starts the new line. You're going to follow it with a period and then start your content. Most people don't use many more than 3 levels, so if you do, again, I put in here, you can go to the APA manual on page 62, and it does have examples of the other leveled headings. Another important aspect of APA is the types of sources that you're citing, and each source is going to be cited in a different way. So under this paragraph, you'll see that I have journal articles in here, the APA manual, which is a book. Other things that are very helpful, I put in here for Lens's YouTube video, which helps students with their title page, their running head, and their sections. You might find that to be a very helpful resource. I thought it was a great one myself. When you're looking at my reference page, you'll see that in there's a reference for a journal, there's the reference for the YouTube video, there's a reference for a book, and an internet site. These are all important because this will help you in looking at the formatting. I purposely included 4 different types of resources to help you. As you go down to the last paragraph under there, you'll see that it talks about technology and how you will go ahead and cite a website. In here, the site that I've cited is Purdue OWL, and I will tell you that it is a fantastic resource for you to use. If you have not already, I would very much suggest that you reach out to me if you have questions, but also go to this website and look at all of the great resources that are available on Purdue OWL. It's a fantastic site. Again, as I mentioned in the beginning, you need to make sure you have your introduction as well as your conclusion. Your conclusion is really going to summarize the information that is in your introduction and pull in some of the body in a conclusion. Most important thing, as I said, is make sure that you refer back to your resources, ask questions, and give citations for anything that you put in here that's not common knowledge. And we get to the bottom here where you will see your reference page. Again, biggest thing that I see people do incorrectly, references is centered. There's no colon, there's no quotes. It's not bold, it's not italicized, and it's not underlined. It simply is the word references, and then you go down to your next 2 lines down. That's where you're going to start alphabetically, and you're going to list your sources. Again, as I said, your first line is left flushed, and the others are indented. Everything in the paper is double spaced. So take a look at these. I hope this helps. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. But this is kind of a basic overview of the most important things when you're writing a paper. My email is included in the course, and I'd be more than happy to help you if you have questions.